So I'm not the biggest fan of huge social gatherings or parties or those sorts of things. I'll just admit that to you all up front. And for most of my single life, that really wasn't an issue because I could always come and go to social events pretty much how I pleased. The first time it really became problematic was when my wife and I, my then fiance, were planning our wedding. And we had very different visions of what our reception would look like. So my vision was we would say I do, walk down the aisle, turn left, enter our vehicle, wave goodbye, and then drive off to our honeymoon. And my wife had a very different vision, which involved a lot of food and cake and dancing and celebrating with everybody. So we talked about it, and in the first of many compromises, we did exactly what my wife wanted to do. And I think most of us are kind of like that, right? We've got things we enjoy doing a bit more. We've got things we don't enjoy doing. And really, even when you look at different weddings, people tend to place emphasis on different parts. So sometimes you go to a wedding that has a very long, elaborate reception. Other times you're at weddings where the reception is super short, or likewise for the ceremony. Sometimes it's a long, elaborate affair. Other times it's straight and to the point. But whatever mix you're in, everybody's kind of got a unique take on it. And what's true today held for weddings back then. It was a little bit more templated, but you'd still get people lingering in some aspects rather than others. And that phenomenon of people lingering at certain parts of the wedding is something that becomes critical in the story or the parable we're going to look at today. This is the parable of 10 virgins. And the context is a wedding celebration, which back then wasn't a single day affair, but had multiple stages and lasted multiple different days. And you had these 10 virgins who were evidently waiting for the groom to come from one part of the wedding celebration to another. And we're not entirely sure exactly what that looked like, but we know that he was in some way entering into a feast, and the virgins were going to, or young maidens were going to accompany him into it. Well, apparently whatever he was doing before was a part of the wedding he very much enjoyed, so he lingered. And so you have these 10 virgins waiting for him, and it turns out that they situated themselves or sorted themselves into two groups. There were the wiser virgins who, planning that something might go wrong, brought extra oil for their lamps so that they could wait and still be able to accompany the groom should he be running behind. But the foolish virgins did not bring extra oil. So they wait and they wait and they wait and they get drowsy, and finally they fall asleep, and then lo and behold, here comes the groom. They all look down, and the foolish virgins realize that they have run out of oil. So they plead with the wise ones, please give us a little bit more. But the wise ones say, we can't do that, otherwise we're going to run out as well. So they advise them to go and buy more oil and hurry back. So they flee, trying to get this oil and make it back in time, but sadly, due to their foolishness, they miss the window. The groom enters into the feast with the 5 wise virgins and shuts the door. And when the foolish young maidens come, he looks back at them and says, I don't even know you. And Jesus tells this story as a way of asking his audience and asking us as well a key question. As you wait for the groom to return, what kind of waiter will you be? Will you wait with wisdom, or will you wait with foolishness? And I'm going to turn it back over to your life group leader for you all to explore that question and many others about the passage.